In order to get the gaff, we want to go to the dojo, build the gaff's hollow, then contribute. We're on a rush, so we're gonna rush the room. There we have it. We're gonna get into a room in the middle. It's gonna be the altar, where we can replicate the blueprints of the Warframe and also the pieces and the blueprint of the weapon. The gaff parts itself, they're gonna cost a new resource called Vein Thorn, and then you just have to build her. Here's also the blueprint for the weapon. And how to get a Vein Thorn, we're gonna go to the syndicate, and if the syndicate that you have a good amount of standing, buy some abyssal beacons, and then we're gonna head back to the navigation. On the navigation, we wanna go to Ceres, and we're gonna have a new node called Abyssal Zone. Can be done on either the steel path or the normal mode. I would assume the steel path is gonna give you more. The thing is it is an extermination, but there are NPCs in there, and you're gonna talk to one of them. It's gonna have a zone where you're gonna find this kind of a key, and you're gonna take it, and then it's gonna pretty much turn into a nightmare mode. You're gonna have a debuff, and you have to take that item to the extraction. But you have to complete the exterminate first, and that's about it. There is nothing too complicated about it. Let's talk about the frame passive and abilities. Passive, there's a 35% chance of energy and health orbs to have 300% more efficiency, which is pretty good. And if that works with equilibrium, that is gonna be the thing to go for. Then we have the abilities. I would say it's easier to start with Doom than with Word Scythes. Doom is your bread and butter. As I said in the previous video, Doom is the thing you're gonna be going around, pretty much the main ability. You're gonna cast Doom. A portion of the damage that you deal against that enemy is gonna be dealt like again. That's the damage redirection. And after damage is stored, let's say there's gonna be a scythe on top of the enemy's head, and after a couple seconds it will just drop and deal that damage. That will keep happening as long as the duration, it is within the duration the enemy is affected by Doom. Warframe Scythes is gonna spread your Doom around. It's gonna apply viral. It's gonna slow enemies. And that's it. Pretty useful. Grave Spirit is gonna give you a critical chance buff. It's gonna prevent you from dying. It's just kind of crazy, to be honest. But it does have a cooldown, a recharge of 25 seconds, and it seems to be unaffected by anything, but it's still a pretty good ability. And that thing scales with duration, so you can get a much higher time of invulnerability, like maybe 30 seconds or something. Recall's Cavalry, that's gonna summon the horses, and they're just gonna charge forward. They're gonna go through the terrain, and they're gonna deal viral damage. If enemies are affected by your Doom, then they're gonna get defenses strip. That's how it goes. Now let's take a look on a initial build. I'll say it's my first build. I'm still working around this frame. I just put a couple formas on her. It is very interesting that she starts with a Zenuric aura, so you can slot in Brief Respite out of the blue. This is a frame that really benefits from range. I can say that you have to use range, otherwise you're not going to be able to spread your Doom very well. Other than that, casting speed is a big thing. I'm not using here yet, but I'm probably going to slot some Archon shards on her for casting speed. She's a pretty cast intensive frame, and the passive works really well. You might want to use something else to allow you to cast more, like a Primed Flow. Equilibrium seems to work pretty well. And yeah, I'm using Steadfast. I would tell you guys to use Arcane Aegis, but I'm not sure if it has been nerfed to the ground or it is just bugged with the update. I couldn't find anything on the patch notes, but yeah, that is done for now, unfortunately. So let's take a look. I'm gonna summon some dudes. Caster 2. Put the Doom around. Caster 1. Spread to everyone. Deal damage. Damage is stored. Then the site just drops and it deals more damage. That's how it goes. Can get a crit buff and pretty much not die. Don't have the best weapons for for the crit, but you get the idea. Then the horsies, they deal a good amount of damage, and it's really, if the enemy has Doom, it's just kind of crazy. Thing just really gets kind of crazy. Let's spread the viral, put the Doom, and horsies can deal a pretty good amount of damage. If we armor strip and add some more stuff, we can get into the, maybe, who knows, millions with the right builds. Or yeah, 300k, 200k, pretty good. Let me just summon some more and just spread some more damage. Look at that. That just feels really good. Can keep spreading using a weapon like the Cedar. I would say that weapons that can hit a lot of enemies and deal a good amount of damage are gonna benefit. Gonna get a good thing out of this ability. But yeah, against armor, it doesn't feel that strong, but it is pretty good. Right, that is for now what I have for the frame about the abilities and how they kind of go. But I want to talk a bit about the frame itself and what are my thoughts so far. I think the DAGATH is a pretty interesting Warframe. When it comes to comparison, let's think about something like her bread and butter, which is the Doom, against something like Kullerva's ability. What makes me, personally, this is my opinion, I think she's more usable than Kullerva because her debuff is much easier to spread, much easier to maintain than Kullerva's ability. His ability deals a ton more damage, there is no way denying that. And if they were to implement something with his 2 that gives him overguard and stuff to spread even more his third ability, like DAGATH's first ability does, we might have a frame that is too OP, and that's why yeah, he's, in a way, he's better. But I do prefer her much more for a debuff like this. It is still pretty interesting, and it's gonna rely more on your damage against every singular enemy. But I just think she's more applicable to many mission types. I feel more comfortable using her on something like survival, who knows, even a defense. She might become some kind of meta for defense. Who knows? Speed Nova and the DAGATH spreading that dot everywhere, and then someone to deal damage. I think that is a possibility, but who knows? It's too early. Also for resistances, it is hard to say. She doesn't have a lot of resistance. She doesn't have a skill to give her some DR, but there is Grave Spirit that is gonna prevent you from dying and make you invincible for the duration that you have there. That's pretty good. But yeah, who knows what people are gonna find out about just surviving in the next days, because there is gonna, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be a new meta pretty soon. Yeah, other thing, I think people are gonna subsume off her 4, but even then, her kit, it just works so well together that it's hard to think on one ability to take away. Obviously, people are not gonna take Grave Spirit off. The first ability spreads your 2. Your 2 is your bread and butter. The 4 works pretty well, actually. So it's kind of hard to do something. And I still don't have a proper build for her. This is just some testing that I'm doing. And yeah, it's really hard to say. It's really, we're on a weird territory for now, but yeah, I think she's a good frame. As for the rest, only time will tell how to make things better, but yeah, interesting frame. And we'll keep looking for things to do with her. So yeah, what do you think about her, the acquisition, everything? If you have any tips or anything like that, leave in the comments below. Leave it a like, subscribe, and peace.